Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all the online viewers from around the world, welcome and thank you all for coming in to the first session of 2021 Smart City Mayors Summit. Now, before we move on, kindly reminder, can I please have all the guests please turn off your cell phone or switch your cell phone to airplane mode so our conference can go on smoothly. This year, the Mayor Summit is held here at Nangan Exhibition Center, but at the same time, we have viewers not only from here in Taipei, but also from around the world coming in today for wonderful presentations and, of course, international roundtable. And ultimately, not only just in person, but also virtually. At the same time, of course, Taipei Mayor Ke Wen-je and delegates from cities worldwide will also engage in all talks with one another regarding how each city leader can further optimize and utilize all the technologies we have here at hand in order to promote a more effective pandemic control. And at the same time, to also speed up the recovery in smart cities. Now, before anything, joining the summit today are the mayors and delegates from 16 cities. Now, when I read your name, can you please also wave and say hi to the audiences for us? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please welcome Wen-je Ke, Mayor of Taipei City, Taiwan. Welcome. May we also welcome Shenshan Huan, Deputy Mayor of Taipei City. Thank you. Andrew Pittam, Deputy Representative of British Office. Hello, welcome. Renee Bierput, Deputy Representative of Netherlands Office here in Taipei. Welcome. Now may I also welcome Kwang Yeon-jin, Mayor of Daegu, South Korea. Hello. Good afternoon. May we also welcome Randell Williams, Executive Mayor of Tshwane, South Africa. Hello. And we would also like to welcome Jiří Snižík, Deputy Governor of Central Bohemia Region, Czech Republic. Anne-Marie Jane, Vice President of Metropol de Strasbourg, France. Good afternoon. Roy M. Loyola, Mayor of Cremona, Cavite, the Philippines. Hello. May we also welcome Michael Casper, Mayor of Town of Kolin, Czech Republic. Hello. Jiri Babu Maharzan, Mayor of Lalitpur Metropolitan City, Nepal. Good afternoon. Mahfouz Musa Sadir Sai, Mayor of Port Louis, Republic of Mauritius. Welcome. Moving on to Zdeněk Hřiš, Mayor of Prague, Czech Republic. May we also welcome Timothy Bowles, Mayor of West of England, the UK. Hello. Gabo Kerpelfronius, Deputy Mayor of Budapest, Hungary. Welcome. And Stephen Brain, Chairperson of Digital Cities, Royal Borough of Greenwich, the UK. Welcome. Again, I would like to thank all the delegates for coming in today and also the representatives, mayors, and delegates coming in today. But before anything, I would like to take this very special opportunity to invite everyone to take a virtual group photo. So the delegates will have to look into the camera, and I would like to invite the speakers here in Taipei to come up on stage for the photo session. May I please invite Mayor Ke, Deputy Mayor Huan, Deputy Representative Mr. Bierput, and Mr. Pittam onto the stage. Thank you. Now, all the delegates, are you ready? We will be looking into the camera all together. Please give me your biggest and warmest smile. Thank you very much. Are we all ready here? Okay. All right. May we please all look into the camera? Ready, set, smile. We will be taking another screenshot of this video conference, but in order to make this photo a little bit more lively, can I please have all the delegates here, also across the globe, put your thumbs up like this, yes, as we take another group photo all together. Ready? If we have the delegates online, can we also put your thumbs up? If you can hear me, yes? All right. Ready, set, raise your thumb. All right, thank you very much for your time, and thank you all for joining this group photo shooting. Again, Deputy Mayor Juan, Deputy Representatives Mr. Piram and Mr. Beerput, you may remain to your seat. Thank you very much. But before anything, I would like to also invite Taipei City Mayor Ke. He will be giving us a welcome remark, and we will be setting it right now. After the remark, Mayor Ke, at the same time, will also share with us a very comprehensive presentation on Taipei's smart city development and outlook. Now, before anything, Mr. Ke will be sharing his warm remark. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Okay, hello all. I'm Mayor Ke of Taipei City. Our annual Smart City exhibition, traditionally held in March of each year, was delayed last year due to the emergence of COVID-19. As a result, the 2020 exhibition was held both virtually and in person. Despite the changed format, we still received enthusiastic participation from city and the country representatives all over the world. Due to Taiwan's diligent pandemic prevention efforts, our 2021 Smart City exhibition and the Mayor Summit are able to be held in person. Overseas countries and cities that are unable to enter Taiwan at this time will participate virtually via video conference. Executive Director Jordan Reeve of the Canadian Trade Office in Taipei is joining us. Is joining us. Deputy Representative Mr. Rini Billy Put, the Netherlands Office, Taipei, and the Deputy Representative Mr. Andrew Pitten, a British office, is joining us here today at this revenue. I'm grateful that you have all made time out of your busy schedule today to come and participate in this summit. After the worldwide pandemic is over, it doesn't matter whether it is the economy or simply daily life. It is impossible to return to the time before. To adapt to this new normal, Taipei City's strategy is to prevent, assist, and transform. These ideas are meant to change the mindset of company and the people alike, so we can implement new ideas to build a new socio-economic model. Additionally, Taipei is actively promoting construction of digital infrastructure to make society more resilient and the business stronger. As a result, Taiwan will be able to rise up to the future challenge. Taipei City has both a good environment and the technical conditions for smart city development. The ICT industry has not been negatively affected by the epidemics, but instead has grown. To quickly restore life to normal, I believe that many cities are using technology to control the epidemic. Taipei City is willing to share our successful methods, experience, and advice about how we have handled epidemics. We are all aware that the new normal under the pandemic has greatly changed the direction of the smart city development. We hope that through sharing our experience, the Smart City Summit will bring closer cooperation between cities. Finally, thanks again for participating in today's event. I hope that the epidemic will under control next year. At that time, we will welcome the city leaders to visit Taiwan and participate in a smart city event in person. See you in Taipei next year. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor Kay, for the warm remarks. But right now, Mayor of Taipei City, he will also be making a presentation on Taipei's smart city development and outlook. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, please welcome Wen-Je Ke, Mayor of Taipei City.
Okay, first of all, welcome to this Smart City Mayor Summit. I will present our Smart City initiative and tell you some successful programs that are ongoing. And I hope that you can find many opportunities for collaboration between Taipei and your own cities. Next. If someone said that we are good, maybe we are good. But if everyone says that we are good, we should be good, okay? In fact, Taipei City got a high score in different smart city evaluation. For example, we are in IMD Smart City Index. Taipei was ranked number 8 in the world. And in ESI Smart City Government score, we also got a high score. Why we can achieve this? Because we emphasize open government, open data, public-private partnership, and the citizen participation. And we construct an ecosystem in which the government, citizen, and the private industry can all share the economic and the social benefit of a smart city initiative. Next. From 2020, the Smart City Initiative began utilizing this approach we call the 1+7 field, which refers to one main core and the 7 additional main projects. One main core is smart government, and the 7 additional fields include smart security, smart building, smart transportation, smart education, smart health, smart environment, and the smart economy. Next. We try to set up an ecosystem by 2 ways, bottom-up and top-down. What is bottom-up? Taipei City can be a living lab for proof of concept project from any company. We help as much as we can. We provide a space for you to test, and you provide a solution to test in our space. And we try to combine both of them to complete the project. This is bottom-up. What is top-down? In the long run, Taipei City Government is a big buy. I mean, we need a lot of service to provide to the citizen. And every year, we will tell the industry what kind of service we need. And you can provide solution to meet our service, and we will buy the service. Next. Here are some successful programs. Hello Taipei. If you download an app, Hello Taipei, then if you find anything wrong in the city, you can tell the city government by internet, okay, through this app. And we try to set up Taipei City as a cashless society. So we have smart payment platform. You can pay utility bills, student tuition, even public housing rent through this app. And we set up citizen service grant platform. Any interaction between citizen and government can be complete on this platform. And we hope the government can be more efficient through this platform. Next. 2 years ago, I visited Estonia in Europe. What I learned there is the most important key component in an ICT system is identification. So we have Taipei Pass. Taipei Pass through Taipei Pass, okay, we know who you are in the ICT system. And through this system, okay, through this system, you can pay utility bill, student tuition, and even public housing, okay, through this APP. And now, in our city government, okay, we hope everyone can download this APP. And in the meeting, we raise a QR code, and everyone can scan the QR code. Then, we can register you as a participant in the meeting. So, Taipei Pass is a very important identification for every individual in Taipei. Next. In the long run, the pandemic will fade out. What will we need in post-pandemic era? I believe it is digital transformation. And what should government do now? I believe that the government cannot know the business much better than enterprise. So, what the government should do is to set up an infrastructure for enterprise and the individual to work very efficiently on the infrastructure, and that's all. So, what we need to do is to set up a digital infrastructure in post-pandemic era. Next. And the cashless society is what we need in post-pandemic era. Last year, we have a stimulus voucher to stimulate economic development, okay, in the pandemic suffering time, okay. And we find one problem. In fact, only 88% of total citizens chose voucher electronically, only 8%. To me, okay, any crisis is an opportunity for you to change. So I add some fringe benefit to induce more people to use stimulus voucher electronically. Finally, okay, 40% of our senior citizens use their senior card as a stimulus voucher, and the 35% of senior high school students use their student ID card as a stimulus voucher. In fact, the percentage is not very high. However, it is a beginning. Next. And last September, okay, 55% of students' parents in Taipei City use linked family account to pay school and the related fee. And in fact, 36% of the elementary school students' parents pay school and the related fee electronically. Why? In fact, because the parents of the elementary school students are younger. This is why we have higher percentage in elementary school. Next. In Taipei City, we have 456 boroughs office. And now we try to set up a digital system in each borough office. And we hope this digital administration system can make the administration easier and more efficiently. And now there are 19 borough offices are using this system. And this is a pilot test. And after it can be successful, after it is successful, I hope we can spread to other boroughs. Next. There are 236 schools in Taipei City, including elementary school, junior high school, and senior high school. And now, we have the 85-inch touchscreen monitors in every classroom. And we have free Wi-Fi and the internet port. I mean, the smart campus infrastructure has been completed. And now we try to go to the so-called smart campus 4.0. I believe, okay, if we try to change a society, we must change the school first. So we spend a lot of money to set up campus digital infrastructure. And I hope in the near future, through the change in the school, we can gradually change the whole Taipei City society. Next. This is something we are testing on the road, okay, autonomous bus. If in the midnight, okay, you find some buses is driving without driver, don't be surprised. We are testing it, okay. Next. We set up 5G network in the hospital, and now there are some robots to deliver medication and the meal to the patients. And we try to decrease the contact between persons, and we hope the risk of contagion can be decreased as well. Next. Well, anyway, welcome to 2021 Smart City Mayor Summit, okay. Smart City Conference and the Expo. This is a collaboration between Taipei City Government and the Taipei Campus Association. I hope this can be a platform for us to cooperate in the future. Next. Next. In the future, any connection between Taipei City and your own city are welcomes, okay. And we hope we can find more opportunity to work with each other. And this is a platform for us to work together. Okay, thank you.
Once again, thank you, Mayor Ke, for the inspiring presentation. Thank you very much. As Mayor Ke has previously mentioned, the government and civilians should really work together in order to seek a bottom-up and top-down way to provide solutions. At the same time, through the integration and promotion of services, we can at the same time build a more efficient smart city. Now, we have also invited distinguished delegates from the foreign offices here in Taipei, and they will also be sharing with us their national smart city strategies, at the same time, their future visions and how they can further cooperate with Taipei City. So ladies and gentlemen, let us first invite Mr. Andrew Pittom, Deputy Representative of British Office, here on stage. Welcome.
Deputy Mayor Huang, distinguished guests, distinguished mayors and officials from a range of cities around the world, as well as distinguished colleagues in the room. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak briefly on behalf of the British office and the UK about smart cities. I've got a couple of slides. I'm just going to touch on three things. First of all, I'm going to talk about why the UK is an attractive partner, why we hope the UK is an attractive partner on smart cities. I'm then going to touch a little bit on best practice and collaboration with Taiwan to date, because there's already been some fantastic collaboration and we hope to see more. And then briefly talk about how government can support and provide the framework and the environment to support smart cities presentation. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So why the UK? I think you'll have seen in Mayor Ke's presentation that in one of the reports anyway, London was considered in 2019 as the most smart city in the world. It's often up there. We've got speakers from two very smart cities in the form of Bristol and Greenwich today, and other cities in the UK have also been to the Smart Cities Forum before and engaged with Taiwan. Over a third of the cities in the UK have smart cities ambitions, and that's growing. And there is government support in terms of £200 million for ICT infrastructure. And our industrial strategy, the UK government industrial strategy, has ways that it can support the environment and infrastructure around smart cities. Legislation is also key, and I think that's a key thing that the government can do in terms of ensuring that the legislation enables innovation. Next slide, please. These are just some of the areas where the UK has expertise, so whether that's urban planning, where we have I think over 18,000 architecture companies with great expertise, or infrastructure and engineering, where we have many more companies that can contribute data software and analytics. We have excellent expertise in terms of software development. Our universities are very engaged in both teaching and research in Internet of Things, and this all contributes to the UK smart cities ecosystem. Transport is another one, with Transport for London having smart cities at the centre of their transport policy. Hydrogen buses is obviously a big part of that, and lots of that best practice has been rolled out around the world. Next slide, please. So you'll hear more from both Bristol and Greenwich, but I just wanted to briefly mention both of those. And Bristol has this initiative called Bristol is Open, which is a joint venture between the city of Bristol and the university. And this has developed one of the strongest 5G network testbeds in the world, as well as in the UK. And this is enabling companies to come in and test their technology and try to find solutions that support the citizen, which is ultimately what it's all about. Ways to ensure that the citizen and citizens' experience is central to things. So there's some great experience from Bristol and the west of England, and I think you'll hear more about that later. And then Greenwich also has some collaboration with Taiwan. They've been out here for Smart Cities forums before, and there's a particular emphasis on autonomous vehicles. Next slide, please. So this is briefly just to touch on government's role, and I've mentioned one or two things already in terms of funding and legislation, but just to mention our catapults. So we have a number of catapults in areas, but the most relevant one for smart cities is the Connected Places catapult. And this brings together policymakers, academia, business, partly funded by government, to accelerate industry collaboration. And this, we feel, has been a central part to progress we've made over smart cities and our smart cities strategy. And if I can move to the next slide, please. And I'll move to the final slide. So Mayor Kerr is right that if you are out at 12:30 at night on Xinyi Road in Taipei, you may see a driverless vehicle going past. And we in the British office had the pleasure of joining with Deputy Mayor Tsai to test this technology by a company called Turing. Which is UK-inspired, but very much Taiwanese. So I think this is a nice example of collaboration we've had here with the city of Taipei. I think it's also a reminder of how many elements of smart cities can contribute to the climate change agenda. And so many elements naturally play to a low emission agenda. And with the UK hosting the COP26 Climate Change Summit later this year, that's obviously central to our strategy as well. So I will leave it there. Good luck for the forum, and thank you again for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Piton, for your wonderful sharing. Now, I would like to invite our next guest, Mr. René Bierput, Deputy Representative of Netherlands Office here in Taipei. Welcome.
Your Excellency, Major Ko, distinguished guests online, distinguished guests present here in the room, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here today at the Smart City Summit and Expo, My name is René Beerpoot. I'm the Deputy Representative of the Netherlands Office Taipei, and I will share with you our Dutch approach on building smart cities. This topic is very important for Dutch policymakers, as the smart city concept allows for implementing new data-driven technologies in order to solve social challenges within a city and hence improve the life of its citizens. Next slide, please. To take the wheel in our hands, the Netherlands has developed a smart city strategy in 2017 with a goal to implement smart solutions in our cities much faster than before. To develop this smart city strategy, our government worked together with the 5 biggest cities in the Netherlands and the private sector and the academia. Summarized, the smart city strategy outlines 5 requirements which need to be implemented in order to be successful. First, there needs to be a secure and safe digital infrastructure. The growing volume of data traffic requires high-speed connectivity. It's vital for IoT to have 5G network in place. Furthermore, the strategy stipulates the importance of an infrastructure that ensures this high speed, high quality and safe connectivity throughout the country. Another requirement is a public-private partnership with room for experiment. My British colleagues already mentioned this cooperation as being very important for smart city solutions, as it requires involvement of public and private partners. So you can think of academia, the civil city governments, businesses, to leverage together the challenges and risks when doing these experiments on smart solutions. All our current social challenges come together in our cities, and therefore it's a very interesting and vital pilot ground to showcase the solutions which are needed for these challenges. Cities are key in finding smart solutions. The third requirement is using new governance models. They need to be applied integrally and together with citizens. A citizens-focused approach is key, with civil servants leading the way, but still without citizens there is no solution. And it's very much needed to encourage all citizens to participate to prevent a digital divide within your society. And that brings us to the fourth requirement, education and employability. The strategy is also about discussing the importance of knowledge and knowledge dissemination, labor market access in relation to an inclusive society. And the fifth requirement is that the regional cooperation within the wider city area is essential to put the strategy really at work. So we have also let the cities devise their own regional ecosystems with their own focus on certain topics. And each has their own focus. For example, I will now zoom into the example of the city of Utrecht, who focuses on smart mobility. Next slide, please. This example is called Lombok's Next, and it is located in Utrecht, which has also a good understanding with Taiwan. And over the last few years, they have developed this example of which you can see an electric car parked in front of a building and is being charged by the solar panels on the top of the roof. However, this is not only charging the car. If there's no sunshine, the energy which is stored in the car can be directed to the building itself and can be used for the residential home itself. So it works in both directions. The energy flows are used for whatever the purpose is needed. It's like a battery and it's a car at the same time. However, this solution didn't come about just overnight. It's a perfect example of an inclusive approach whereby city planners, the energy company, the car manufacturer and Dutch citizens came together and came to this solution. Next slide, please. This brings us to another example, the sniffer bike. It's a smart mobility solution which allows to monitor the air quality when cycling. In Utrecht, there are already many cyclists who use this device, and by doing so, they generate a lot of data which can be used by the municipality of Utrecht to pinpoint the actual air pollution in certain areas of the city. And that helps them to devise measures to deal with those pollution sources. So these kind of solutions we would like to promote here in Taiwan. And therefore that brings me to my final slide. In order to build smart cities, it's important to learn from each other, to work together. International cooperation is needed to fasten the implementation of these solutions. The Netherlands can learn a lot from Taiwan's IoT, ICT, and other high-tech industries. Just look here today around in the exhibition room. There are many smart solutions present which can be taken for us. However, also vice versa, we think that the people in Taiwan can learn a lot from us in the Netherlands in ways that we deal with the public-private approach in finding an inclusive solution which is still innovative in its outcome. Therefore, I would like to conclude that we should aim to be smart city partners, and I hope we can continue to discuss our work together after this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bierput, for your wonderful presentation. Based on what Mayor Ke and our representatives had talked about, citizens and government really have to work together, participate together, whether it's through transportation, health system, education, or even more, in order to find a better strategy to build up a smart city. So at the same time, we have also invited delegates from around the world to also share their strategies and at the same time, their experiences and how they can alleviate, at the same time, to mitigate the impact of pandemic. They will also be talking about how they can use the innovative technologies to support economic growth, at the same time to overcome any barriers ahead of us. So in the very next hour, we will move on to our round table. Now, the mayor's round table will now begin. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to introduce and invite Ms. Shenshan Huan, Deputy Mayor of Taipei City, to come up on the stage for her presentation. Welcome.
Greetings, representatives from cities and around the world. I'm Taipei's Deputy Mayor, Shenshan. I'm so honored to have this opportunity to share with all of you how Taipei worked to keep the pandemic under control during the past year. Next, please. There are over 1 billion confirmed COVID-19 cases around the world, with a mortality rate approaching 2.23%. Taipei City reported 229 confirmed cases and 2 deaths. Thanks to the city government's efforts in proactive advanced deployment, we are able to restrict the impact of the pandemic to the lowest possible degree. Next, please. Starting January of 2020, Taipei immediately activated plans for both COVID-19 prevention and economic transition in response to possible changes in the post-pandemic world. For us, the 10 key elements to confronting COVID-19, including spread monitor, case reporting and tracking, response drills, tech-assisted prevention, and so on. Next, please. Prudence and prevention is more effective than recovery after contracting the virus. The three-way communication among the public, medical institutions, and the public health authorities. First, When individuals seeking medical attention at a clinic or hospital show symptoms conforming to the definition of the pandemic, the facility must report the case in compliance with guidelines. Second, when the Department of Health receives this report, it must immediately conduct contact and tracking. Next, please. Taipei City adopted numerous innovative technological solutions into our pandemic fighting efforts. Here are some examples. First, for the post-pandemic new normal, we have introduced the real name registration app. Those entering the facility must have either their ID or designated QR code scanned to upload required personal data in compliance with the real name registration system. Its role in this admission control at a major concert at Taipei Arena was reported in Times Magazine. Second, the city government worked with a number of medical institutions to minimize the risk of contagion from hospitals' visit of individuals under quarantine or isolation through remote health care service. Third, under the spirit of innovation, we work with private partners to introduce the real name-based face mask vending machine system to implement real name-based registration, cashless transactions, and distribution in line with face mask quota. Next, please. COVID-19 has created serious impact upon the economy and society. To lessen these effects of the pandemic upon industries, the city governments introduced measures such as tax postponement, rent reduction, price deduction, and preferential interest rates to help 9 major enterprises to weather the storm. As of January 2021, the city invested nearly 6.6 billion NT$ with aid, reaching roughly 537,000 individuals or households. The effect can be seen from Taipei's for-profit business sales of 2020. Compared to the same period from the year before, the number actually grew by 1.76%. Next. Finally, the statistics related to the COVID-19's prevention efforts are uploaded to the Taipei Big Data Center. By gathering all related data on the pandemic from both domestic and abroad, we are able to keep track of the latest development, from the number of people admitted to the venues across the city to figures resulting from the various pandemic prevention policies. We are able to boost our pandemic prevention efforts through the implementation of data-driven policy decision-making. Next. After observing global city development trends and comparing them to those Taipei cities, we have devised the overall vision of citizen-centered approach in the realization of smart city governance by innovation. Furthermore, we formulated a core approach comprising 1 foundation, 2 policies, and 2 development based upon the 3 major strategies of dynamic transition, resilience, adaptation and approach balancing hard with soft. Next. Based on the aforementioned core strategy, we have published the Taipei City White Papers on post-pandemic era digital transition of industries and action plans to serve as a basis for the city government push of digital transition of local industries in the future. Next. Taipei City has done well during our initial bout with COVID-19. Thanks to the comprehensive planning, we also employ big data, which after combined with AI and innovative technologies, lock down any possible spread of the virus. Our achievements demonstrated to the global community Taiwan's strength in smart medical care and technology assistance pandemic prevention. We should still measure our pace and prepare for the future. In this spirit of taking Taipei to the world and embracing the global with open arms, we believe that the winner will be those who are able to quickly adapt to the new norms. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Huan. Deputy Mayor Huan was the first speaker of our roundtable. Now, the remaining speakers of the roundtable will be delegates from across the globe. So right now, I would like to invite all delegates online. Can you please also turn on your camera if you haven't? And please let us also see your faces. And now I'm going to move on to the second speaker of the roundtable. Again, once again, thank you, Deputy Mayor Huan. Now, may I also please welcome Mr. Kwang Yong-jing, Mayor of Daegu, South Korea. He will also be sharing with us the city's experience. May I have Mr. Kwang Yong-jin? Yes. And just a little reminder, because Mr. Kwon, he will be speaking in Korean on his end, and I will be interpreting in English here in person. So our voices, both in English and Korean, will be going through simultaneously. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Kwon, you may begin anytime.
Good afternoon. 대한민국
I
대구광역시
am Kwang
시장
Yong-jin, Mayor
권영진입니다.
of Daegu Metropolitan City, Korea.
팬데믹으로 어려운 상황에도
I'd like to
불구하고
express my
세계
gratitude to the
도시
mayor of
정상들과
Taipei, Ko Wen-je,
뉴노멀 시대 스마트
and
시티의
everyone
역할을
involved in
못하고
organizing the Smart City
스마트
Mayors
시티 서밋
Summit
행사를 마련해 주신
to discuss the
원저
role of
타이페이
smart
시장님과
cities
관계자 여러분께
regarding
감사의
the
말.
new normal.
Next. 대구시는 대한민국의 동남부에 위치한 인구
Daegu is home to
250만
2.5 million citizens and is located in the southeastern part of Korea.
세계적인 아이돌 그룹
It is the
BTS
city where the
멤버인
global company
슈가
Samsung
슈가의
began
고향이기도 합니다.
and the hometown of V and Suga.
타이페이 시와는
Members of the
2010년
world-renowned group
관계를
BTS,
관광, 문화,
we
체육
established
분야를
a
중심으로
sisterhood relationship with
우리 협력을
Taipei in
확대해 가고
2010.
있고 특히 올해
Since then, we have
스마트
actively
시티 온라인
cooperated
서밋에 참가하게
in the
되어 매우
fields of
기쁘게
tourism,
생각합니다.
culture, and sports.
Next. 지난 한 해 전 세계는
Last year, the world went
팬데믹으로
through tough times
힘든
because
시기를
of the
보냈습니다.
pandemic.
대구시 또한 지난해
Daegu also
2월
had very difficult times after the first
두
confirmed
달여 동안
case
굉장히 어려운
in
시기를
February
보냈습니다.
of last year.
그러나 우리 대구시는
But
방역
thanks to
당국의
health
노력과
authorities' efforts,
국민들의 헌신,
medical professionals' dedication, citizens' tremendous spirits, we overcame the COVID-19 crisis.
대구시는 세계 최초로 드라이브스루 선별
We opened
진료소를
drive-through testing centers for the first time in the world, introduced residential treatment centers and QR code visitor management system.
토대를
It was the
만들었습니다.
foundation of Korean disinfection.
Next. 또한 대중교통
Now then,
마스크
the
착용
most
의무와
important issue
사회적
is how to
거리두기를
prepare for the
보완하는
new
것으로
normal
명령하고
era after overcoming COVID-19.
첫 확진자 발생 이후
Daegu
하루
has invested $10 billion in capital, such as in an industrial new deal through digital convergence, a human new deal through human resource training,
최근 일주일간 일일
and a
평균
Space New Deal through great innovation in urban spaces.
안정적 관리가 이루어지고 있고
We want to maximize the resilience of urban recovery, which was subsided due to COVID-19.
면역이 형성되는 11월에는
At the same time, we hope to promote recovery of daily life.
기대하고 있습니다.
At the same time, also economic improvement and job creation.
Next. 그렇다면 코로나19 극복 이후
For the success of the Daegu New Deal, we are pursuing a major transformation of the industrial structure centered on future new industries.
회복 탄력성 극대화를
With
위해
Smart City as the foundation, we will focus on promoting 5+1 future new industries. As we can see on the slide, medical, water, future car, energy, and robots.
경제도약,
We will accomplish industrial innovation in Daegu by building a smart medical healthcare hub, operating a national water industry cluster as a base,
뉴딜 성공을 위해 미래 신산업을 중심으로
building a test bed for self-driving cars in the city center.
스마트 시티를 기반으로 의료, 물,
At the same time,
미래형
to also
자동차,
manage a
에너지,
KR&D campus
5+1 미래 신산업을 집중 육성하고
and a robot industry cluster
허브 구축,
as a
국가
base
물산업 클러스터
for the
운영,
hydrogen industry.
자율주행차 테스트베드 구축, 수소산업 거점
We hope
KR
that with the
플러스와
Smart City as the
로봇산업
foundation,
클러스터 운영 등을 통해
through the promoting of 5+1 future new industries, we are able to pursue a major transformation.
Next. 또한
In addition,
경제활성화와 산업
by
구조
2022, we plan to foster 100 innovation leaders,
지역대학
3,000 innovative talents who will lead the fourth industrial revolution
2022
by implementing the Who Star project in collaboration with local universities,
3,000명을 육성하고자 합니다.
companies, and research institutes in order to cultivate
대한민국 스마트 시티를
human
선도해
resources.
대구 내의 신도시인 수성
We wish
알파
that we
시티,
will also be able to revitalize the economy
조성,
and shift the
스마트
industrial
시티
structure
아시아 모두
massively.
2년 연속 수상, 국제 표준인
At the same
ISO
time, the Who Star
3710
project will also be a collaboration with local universities and research institutes
인정받았습니다.
because we believe this will help the economy grow even further.
앞으로는 교통 안전,
In the meantime,
환경, 복지
Daegu
등
has been a
다양한
pioneer
도시
of smart
내
cities in
통합
Korea.
허브를 구축하고
It has been recognized for its excellence, such as creating a smart city test bed, Suseon Alpha City in Daegu,
발굴하려 합니다.
receiving the Smart City Asia Pacific Award for 2 consecutive years.
특히 올해는 도시의
And in
디지털
particular
전환
this year,
인프라와
we will also be
서비스의
focusing on investments in infrastructure and services for the digital transformation of
첫
cities.
번째,
Among them, I'd like to introduce 2 of the most representative examples.
대구시는 교통 문제 해결을 위해
The first one is AI-based smart transportation system. Now, to solve traffic problems, Daegu aims to reduce traffic congestions and pedestrian traffic accidents by 15%. We have also established an AI-based smart traffic system through the CCTV image analysis. Of course, through this, the time saved by shortening commute time can definitely be returned to the citizens, and an annual amount of $45 million in transportation can be saved.
Next. 두 번째, 대구 원 네트워크
The second one is establishment of the Daegu One Network. We will establish Korea's first wired and wireless city network. This will also, we will be providing database administrative services such as smart parking lots and smart water metering. At the same time, we will also be expanding public Wi-Fi throughout Daegu to create a free Wi-Fi city.
Next.
So last but not least, in the future, we look forward to expanding cooperation with participating cities in the smart city field. I will now conclude the presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Mr. Kwang Young-jin, Mayor of Daegu, South Korea. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please also welcome Mr. Randell Williams, Executive Mayor of Shenshan, South Africa. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be part of the summit and the expo. And I want to thank especially the mayor of Taipei to extend the invitation to me. Could we please move to the next slide? Well, certainly for the past year with the pandemic, we have certainly accelerated our advancement in the information and digital era, especially as far as the communication technology is concerned. And our hybrid meeting today is clear evidence thereof. Who would have imagined that we would be using Zoom, platforms like Zoom and Teams to the same extent that we are currently doing? Next slide, please. The city of Tshwane is run on 5 strategic pillars. The first pillar is a city that facilitates economic development and job creation. Second one, a city that cares for the residents and promote inclusivity. Third, a city that delivers excellent services and protect the environment. 4, a city that keeps its residents safe. And 5, very important, a city that is open, honest, and responsive. And to that, we've aligned our 5 smart city principles with smart economy, smart living, smart environment, safe city, and smart governance. Next slide, please. And this is just to repeat what was done in the second slide, just to present it in a different format, the alignment of the principles, which are also the smart city objectives. Next slide, please. And then what we started already to move towards a smart city, we started in 2014 with what we call a phase 1, which includes public Wi-Fi, broadband, and eTshwane platform. And then we've also now currently in 2021, we are running 2 phases in parallel. This phase 2 includes moving manual service to our eTshwane platform. We have a second platform which also serves as a backup platform. It's a WhatsApp channel that we're also moving all our services in duplicate to that channel. And then a very interesting one, the SAP S4HANA development, which is also part of our phase 3 that we started already, which will involve big data, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and safe city. And this system is a future-ready enterprise resource planning system with built-in intelligent technologies such as AI, machine learning, and advanced analytics. And then going forward, we will be adding more modules in phase 4 that will lead to the smart objectives that we have. Next slide, please. And here you have it. We've got our phase 1, public Wi-Fi, and I will get back to that in the following slides. And then the eTshwane platform with also a duplicate platform on the WhatsApp channel, and then a broad network which is currently suspended, but that the network is in place, has been working for some time, but as it goes in local government, there are always contractual disputes. Next slide, please. And here, I just want to address this slide. We've got Tshwane public Wi-Fi, and as we've put it, we've got it across all 7 regions. The city of Tshwane is divided into 7 regions. Reason being, is that the city of Tshwane, the geographical size is 6,300 square kilometers. So that's a lot of area to cover, a lot of infrastructure to put in place. So what we had to do, we had to decentralize services. So the Tshwane Wi-Fi has got a 1 gigahertz speed link. It's being used by schools, it's being used by businesses, learning institutions, higher institutions, and so forth. So it's a very, very valuable resource for the residents of the city. Next slide, please. And as far as the Tshwane, the eTshwane online portal is concerned, we've migrated all these manual systems to the e-portal, and we've now got customer registration and linking of consumer accounts, investor portal for economic development, electronic payment, application for water and electricity services. You may submit readings, but that soon will be something of the past, because we've already started installing prepaid smart meters, which allows for two-way communication. So as a local government, you are able to communicate with your residents, and your residents can use the system to communicate with you. Currently, we've installed more than 300,000 smart meters for electricity, but we are also running a pilot scheme now, a pilot project, where we're looking at installing smart meters, prepaid meters for water, for delivery of water. And then obviously we're looking at other issues, because we consider ourselves to be a caring government. We've got an indigent management system where we give a certain quota of free electricity and free water. And when I say free water, even in South Africa, if you do not pay your water account, we've got a very, very strong constitutional court judgment that says you may not cut off water totally. You can reduce the supply, but you may not stop it. But as far as indigent management is concerned, especially what has been happening the last year with the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs, businesses closed down. When we move to high levels, especially when we move to levels 4 and 5, a lot of businesses closed down, especially in the hospitality industry, and it's going to be very, very difficult for these businesses to start up. And our scientists have predicted that in between April of this year and June, we will have to expect a third wave of infections. Next slide, please. And here you have it, the WhatsApp system, which is a second platform apart from the main system, which is the eTshwane platform. So we will be moving everything, everything will become automated, especially, for example, our development applications, which local government is responsible for. It's a large part of our work, approving building plans, rezonings and stuff. All that will become automated. Next slide, please. And this is just our second channel, and we will be migrating more services to this channel so that it will always serve as a backup channel. Next slide, please. And here we are, the S4HANA, which is a SAP system, as I've explained. This will take us all the way to our phase 4. We are currently now at the preparation phase. We're 2 phases away from a deployment phase, and then from July we'll start the run phase. But as we start the run, we will be adding more and more modules to totally automate the city. Next slide, please. And this is phase 3, which will lead to a safe city, big data, Internet of Things. For example, we will be connecting all our infrastructure like street lights, traffic lights, so that you don't have to do inspections, or you don't have to rely on residents logging a query for technical faults, that will be a thing of the past. We will be able to pick it up automatically, and a large part of that will be due to artificial intelligence. And also, to do that, you will need 5G connectivity. Next slide, please. And this is the Safe City solutions that will be put in place. It will consist of video surveillance connected to a unified command center with both wired and wireless communication. And that will be one part of keeping the city safe, introducing technology. Apart from what we have already in place is a city police. Next slide, please. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to make this presentation. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Mayor Williams. Pretty much talked about how we can make use of our phase 1 public Wi-Fi online portal services all the way until phase 2, which is the WhatsApp channel services, and of course, phase 3, implementing infrastructure and AI. So once again, thank you. Now, we're going to moving on to our next speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, can we also please welcome Mr. Jiří Snizik, Deputy Governor of Central Bohemia Region, Czech Republic. Welcome.
Welcome. Dear ladies and gentlemen from all around the world, I would like to introduce you to the innovative region which, geographically speaking, lies in the heart of Europe, and the tech companies located here in Central Bohemia helped us to cope with the pandemic of COVID-19 disease. Next slide, please. Please skip to the slide 3, number 3. Thank you. As a region which is very supportive of new technologies and innovative methods, we have decided to create an innovation center in Central Bohemia. The organization is funded by the Central Bohemia Regional Authority and connects academic institutions to support research, development, and innovations in the region. The targets are to support local small and medium-sized enterprises in Central Bohemia, to establish partnerships and new collaborations between businesses and top research institutions, and to create a dedicated team which will map services and technologies, analyze the results, and works with them to provide support to local enterprises. Next slide, please. As this conference is dedicated to actions and development in the innovations field to help fight with the pandemic, I will introduce you to some companies who have headquarters in the Central Bohemia and who were working on developing products which would be helping to manage the spread of COVID-19. Dana Technologies, which has developed the saliva PCR test, is a company which concentrates experts in the medical and organic chemistry, biochemistry, and pharmacology. Their research is based in a biotechnology hub, collaborating with industrial and academic partners, and together they have developed saliva tests which are simple, faster, and exceptionally reliable. The company has benefited from the support of Central Bohemia Innovation Center in form of creative vouchers. Next slide, please. Another company I would like to mention is Santiago Chemicals, located in Kralupy nad Vltavou, which was supported by the expert provided to analyze the operation and effectiveness of process with the aim to quickly work on the preparation of their own version of remdesivir for scientific purposes. Together with 4 other potential anti-COVID-19 drugs, Santiago prepared the supply to laboratories for antiviral research. Next slide, please. Cardam Company is yet another great example of scientific institutions located in the Central Bohemia. It is center of applied research and development for additive manufacturing. This company provides technically and technologically advanced solutions and products by using high level of mathematical simulations and additive technologies. This is where the protective half mask was designed to meet all the requirements for paramedics, firefighters, police officers. It is intended for all users in the first line. It was available to use from March 2020. This model of mask combines filter, which allows the maximum degree of protections to be achieved, corresponding to all the FFP3 characteristics. Next slide, please. As I have previously mentioned, our Centro Bohemia Innovation Center is engaged cooperation with the universities, particularly with the Czech Technical University, which belongs in between the oldest universities in Europe. The Faculty of Biomedical Engineering has created so-called Corovent, which is ventilator for patients with COVID-19. Next slide, please. I cannot forget to also mention the Institute of Biotechnology, which joins Institutes of Science and faculties of Charles University. In March 2020, Biotech receives permissions to conduct large capacity COVID-19 testing, which also increased the new coronavirus testing capacity since the start of this year. Czech researchers tested a new double antibody effectively protecting humans against SARS-CoV. Next slide, please. Let me sum up on the slide the cooperation which support provider for the technologically advanced companies within the Centro Bohemia. We are concentrating on the regional development of innovation, environment, and related projects. With help with our research institutions, we apply research to address the needs and challenges of society. We are also providing support for the growth of innovations and digitalization in companies, which through our expertise can easier reach the result and use these sources effectively. Last slide, please. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Deputy Governor. I think he made a really good conclusion of how Bohemia can make use of the regional development and at the same time, research institutions. He also lists out a couple of different companies out there and how we can all together alleviate the impact of the pandemic. So once again, thank you very much. Now, can I also please introduce our next speaker, Vice President Anne-Marie Jane, Vice President of Metropol de Strasbourg, France. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Good day, everyone. My name is Anne-Marie Jean, and I am the Economic Vice President for Strasbourg Metropol in France. It's a real honor to be here today for the Smart City Congress Miles Summit, and I would like to thank the organizers for this opportunity. To introduce Strasbourg. Strasbourg is a metropole of about 500,000 inhabitants located in the heart of the Upper Rhine region with a direct border with Germany. Strasbourg has been a renowned innovative metropolis since the Renaissance, with the beginning of the printing industry in the city of Gothenburg. It is also the seat of European Parliament and Council of Europe. As many other cities, we use city data for open data platforms available to companies and operators in fields such as mobility, health, economic, environment, in order to globally improve the quality of life around the city. For instance, with real-time traffic flow management, intermodality management, real-time quality of the air analysis. I'd like to tell you about a new vision involving more citizens than data. Next, please. Strasbourg has a new ambition. Considering the environmental challenges, Strasbourg is embracing a transition supported by three main pillars: the social, ecologic, and democratic pillars. To be smart, Strasbourg considers the social impact of the projects, the involvement of the citizens in the decision-making process, and the upstream integration of key factors of the ecological transition in order to ensure a reduced impact on the environment. Next, please. To succeed, a drastic change of paradigm was necessary. It translated into an integration of the key stakeholders, scientific, academic, business, and citizens, in collaboration with the city to develop new projects. The result is the development of inclusive and low-tech impact projects shared between partners, communities, and territories. This implies in fields such as healthcare, mobilities, or businesses. This more resilient approach was an asset during the current crisis, COVID-19. For example, by knowing well the citizens' needs because of the established dialogue, in a few weeks we were able to adapt tools such a program named Become for local economic digitalization, businesses, stores, craftspeople, and another one named Believe for local tourism actors. Digitalization acceleration is ongoing, but with a particular attention given to digital sobriety in order to consider the impact on the environment. Next, please. Based on this approach, I would like to present a short case study. The TSD, Territoire de Santé de Demain, Tomorrow Health Territory, the TSD project, is a tool to define, develop and experiment health patterns to give citizens from urban and rural areas adapted tools to face today and tomorrow health challenges. It originally faced challenge to reach its main objectives with more than 60 projects, but the results are quite interesting. A collaborative methodology between the different partners to deal with a common health issue. It's the common house that you can see. The identification of complementary assets between very different territories, city and rural areas. Still, a very low-tech approach compared to some projects of that scale. The TSD project was a winner of the French Government Innovation Territories Award in 2019. The city is here the aggregator to ensure the best coordination and the fitting between the products developed and the needs of the citizens. Next, please. So, the role of the city in a smart approach, as we do it, is this role of experimentation. Smart cities are above all the main players to develop, experiment, and deploy solutions, and this way they need to be considered as key stakeholders. They remain the natural link with the citizens, and they are natural living labs to experiment these solutions, to validate the economic models, and to get the feedback from the users, cities and citizens. Next. So, and this is my conclusions. Cities are not technology stakeholders, but technology is at stake for the cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Vice President Jane. We talked about how we can have three major components, pretty much through social, environment, and definitely citizen participation. Again, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us please also welcome Mr. Roy M. Loyola, Mayor of Carmona, Cavite, the Philippines. Welcome.
Thank you, Annie. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. Next slide, please. Before I begin, allow me to briefly introduce you to Carmona, located just to the south of the capital city, Manila, Philippines. It is a small but highly industrialized first-class municipality in the province of Cavite. It has a fast-growing economy, being the home of various businesses, 35% of which are Taiwanese. It is also the sports venue in the south. Thus, Carmona is dubbed as premier investment and sports hub. Next slide, please. However, in 2020, just like any other city and country, the COVID-19 pandemic left us with no choice but to impose several restrictions to contain the virus at the expense of economic development, business, employment opportunity, and tourism. The rise in the number of COVID-19 cases at that time has limited the movement of people and reduced business operation nationwide. The quarantine restriction in place also made it harder for the local government to reach out to our community and address their needs. Nevertheless, we made sure that our basic frontline services and regular programs would still carry on even amid the pandemic. Next slide, please. In order to adapt to the situation, we capitalize on our current technological capacity. Aside from using the technologies cascaded to us by the national government, we also develop our own technologies to mitigate the impact of the pandemic and cope with its unprecedented demands. One of our most notable innovations is the Carmona COVID Tracker. Through our Municipal Information Technology Department, we developed a COVID-19 tracking system via a mobile application. This application proactively logs vital information and interaction of individuals within the municipality that could help track and prevent COVID-19 contagion. We launched this technology in April 2020, and we are one of the first LGUs in the Philippines to develop and implement a contact tracing application. Next slide, please. Aside from this, we also strengthened our Tech for Ed Center to provide free internet access to students who lack resources for online learning and offered telemedicine and telerehabilitation services to meet all the other healthcare needs for our residents and persons with disability stakeholders. Next, please. Now that we are onto our way to recovery, we are intensifying our efforts to prepare our municipality and our stakeholders for a new and better normal. In preparation for the upcoming vaccine immunization deployment in our municipality, we established the Carmona COVID-19 Data Management Unit. This will serve as a comprehensive local database of all eligible population for COVID-19 vaccination. We have also planned to digitalize our processes to further enhance our municipal operation. Currently, we have ongoing partnership with private companies to develop online transaction and online payment gateways to help our citizens easily and safely transact with the municipal government. The construction of our command center also already underway. Upon completion, this facility will be a central intelligence hub for public safety and disaster response, which will be key in preventing and mitigating accidents, disasters, and outbreaks. Next slide, please. Beyond improving our municipality's technological capacity, we are also maximizing the potential of our agricultural lands for a more productive purpose. Currently, we are in a joint venture agreement with the multinational companies to develop our municipality and eventually transform our agricultural land into a commercial and financial district. From this year onwards, we will be witnessing major developments that will enable us to deliver a better quality of life to our people. We acknowledge that there's still a long way to go, but the municipality of Carmona will always be open to more opportunity, possibilities, and collaborations. And it will be an absolute honor if you will be with us as we fulfill our vision to build Carmona into a smart city known not only in the province of Cavite, but also throughout the whole world. With this, allow me to thank everyone, especially the Mayor of Taipei and all the organizers of this conference for providing leaders around the world a platform for sharing and learning. I am beyond grateful in participating in this Mayor Summit, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's valuable insight. Again, thank you very much, mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Mayor Loyola. Mayor pretty much talked about how we can also develop technologies to further mitigate the impact of the pandemic. Through the Philippines, they have also created a COVID tracking system, also some healthcare needs and digital technologies in order to regain normalcy. So thank you again very much, Mr. Loyola. Now we're going to move on to our very next speaker. May we please welcome Mr. Michael Casper, Mayor of Town of Kolin, Czech Republic. Welcome.
Distinguished guests, mayors of cities of the world, and all organizers, thank you very much for your invitation. Next one, please. Thank you. I am from the Czech Republic, from Kolín, which is a smaller city near Prague, about 30,000 inhabitants. We try to use a smart solution, not only for technologies itself, but for making life of our people easier. I think that it's a very important thing, and we have some examples, some cases. The first is Kolín in Mobile, which is application which is available not only for visitors, but mainly for inhabitants. It was very useful during pandemic year for communication with our inhabitants. They can find their information about the city, they can find their information about some news from the town hall, some news from the city, from culture, from sports and so on. They can use for parking, they can use for public transport for dynamic timetables and so on. Next one, please. Here you can see something, for example, information about our investments, about our reconstruction of the streets, and everybody who can use it can see what he can be afraid of in our city of Kolín. For example, we use this application for about 7 years, and now more than 10,000 people from our city has about 30,000 people, use this application. Next one, please. Here you can see dynamic timetables for public transport. You can use the application. You can see when, for example, bus is when is delayed or is on time. Next one, please. You can use it, for example, for some photo or something what is wrong in public space. We can solve it, and you, for example, make a photo of crashed pavement and so on, and you can see your task, and we will solve it. Next one, please. For example, this is an example, we see it, we know about it, we can solve it, and people who make a photo, they can get a feedback about something, about solving this problem. Next one, please. We have a system of smart parking for 4 years in our city. We have mobile parking application. You can discover of the nearest car parking, use it by GPS. You can get a notification for users, and you can approaching expiration of parking period. And you can extend parking remotely from this application. Next one, please. It's something from our application. Next one, please. In the city, we have, of course, some tables about free parking spaces. Next one, please. And of course, it's connected with municipal city police. They can use their application and they can check if it's paid for parking or it's not paid. Next one, please. Of course, we can use our visualization. We can see real-time parking by occupation rates, and we can use it for our traffic department or for our city police. Next one, please. And of course, we have some statistics, times and tables for occupation rates in times, for parking plots, occupation in times, and so on. Next one. I think that it's the biggest project. It's the first ever multi-purpose key for available elementary schools pupils in Europe. It was presented in Smart City Expo in Barcelona from Colleen, and it's the multi-purpose key for all pupils in our elementary schools. Next one, please. They can use it for school building entry. The smart key for works with electronics lock doors, and they can enter into their school buildings. Next one, please. They can use it, of course, in a cafeteria. It is contactless chips, and you can use it for your easy lunch distribution. Next one, please. Of course, you can use it in our library. The pupils, the children from the schools, they have their smart key for works as a library membership cards. Next one, please. And we can use it in our public transport. All of our buses, they are able to accept this wireless card, and you can use it as a seasonal ticket, or of course they can use it as a single ticket on your one card. Next one, please. And the last one is that it's connected with, it's made from MasterCard, and it's a prepaid card. If if parents want to use it, they can use it for the payment card. They can use it as their wireless prepaid MasterCard, and they can pay it in each shop, for example. Next one, please. And 2 years ago, we made with our local company SOS Beacons, which are beacons, digital data aggregator, which is linked to municipal police control desk, and it's full of speaker, microphone, 4 cameras, and cabinets, and municipal police can open remotely from their control desk first aid kit, fire extinguisher and defibrillator, or we can use it for some events which are not common. Next one, is this, thank you. And via pandemic situation, we made COVID reports for our website, for our application. You can see one of these each day. We have COVID reports about number of cases, about new restrictions, not only in Kolín, but of course in the whole Czech Republic, and so on. Next one, please. And of course, it's connected with our website. We have our direct link to our website, to a mobile application, and we try to inform our inhabitants. I think that it's necessary to have direct link to our citizens, mainly in these days of pandemic times. And I think that smart technologies we can use it for it in a very good way. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Casper. Definitely talked about how the usage of technology in applications such as for transportation or smart parking, information about a city, COVID-19 cases, etc., for multi-purposes in order to build Kolín into a smarter city. So once again, thank you very much. Now moving on to Roundtable, can I please also welcome Mr. Chiri Babu Maharzan, Mayor of Laliptur Metropolitan City, Nepal. Welcome.
Hi. Good afternoon to all of you. I would like to extend my heartfelt thankfulness to the Mayor of Taipei City for inviting me in this 2021 Smart City Summit and Expo. I represent Laliput Metropolitan City. This is the second largest city in the Kathmandu Valley, the capital city of Nepal. We have around 435,000 population. The area is not that big. It's a 36.2 square kilometer. And this city is known as Fine Arts City. And we are the member of World Craft Council. And this is the World Heritage. Now, working on regarding the smart city, we believe we are the first in the country to claim smart city. That we are endeavoring in many aspects in order to become a smart city. In this case, since our city is very famous for its fine arts, and whatever we do, that is going to be related to the fine arts city. So in this case, definitely, right after the earthquake that took place in 2012 April, lot of things were smashed out, and of course that was a big challenge for us to rebuild, which is now almost done. So that is the one biggest achievement we have achieved so far. But immediately after that, the COVID-19 pandemic did come in our country, and of course it is still going on. And we are expecting the second wave of pandemic situation in the country, because our neighboring country, India, does have tremendously going up this situation. Now, in that case, when the pandemic came in our country, at that time, there were no, the market did not have enough supplies of mask and sanitizer. So we manufacture as per requirement of our city. So that was one of the greatest jobs we did, and which was really applauded by the country people. So thereafter, we did a lot of things onto prevention of the pandemic in the country. Like we established so many quarantine sites, isolation sites, and we got so many teams of the CICT team that we call in our case investigators and contract tracing groups in our city. They also did very nice job. And on top of that, we did two fronts attempts during the pandemic period. So in that case, we try to avoid people visiting the Metropolitan City office. In that case, there were a lot of technologies we incorporated. Just take an example of electronic building permit system. In that case, the citizens do not require to visit our office. They can get their building permit from their home. Again, we got so many building information database management that was also done, and of course we incorporated the smart street light in our city. So in that case, we have just completed the first phase of our smart installation of smart street lights, and the second phase is going to start very soon. And we got the smart parking system as well, which we introduced very recently. And mobility model shifts from private to public is also incorporated. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this case, we got so many online payment systems. Previous slide, please. Previous slide. Okay, so online calling. Okay, so okay, we got some. We introduced the metric addressing system linked with municipal database. We got the green and blue projects implemented in the country. While we say green, it means the greenery projects, garden projects, roadside greeneries, etc. And whenever we say blue, it's the water projects. And there are so many water projects we accomplished very recently. And there are also some green and blue fusion projects upcoming. Next slide, please. Okay, regarding the COVID surveillance system, we incorporated a lot of smart technologies in the country. Now, for the future plans, we enhanced e-governance in our municipality, and the electronic building permit system is in place. Now, digital signature system is also in place, and finally, we got integrated urban information system, and finally, a tourism exchange memorandum of understanding is going to be signed between Lalitpur Metropolitan City and Taipei City. So this is going to happen very soon. So now I conclude my presentation, and thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Mayor. We talked about how the participation of citizens together, they also established quarantine measures and quarantine sites, and also provided tier funds such as smart parking system and also smart street lights, etc., to promote a smarter city. Again, thank you so much. Now, can we also please welcome Mr. Mahfouz Musa Kadir Sai, Mayor of Port Louis, Republic of Mauritius. Welcome.
Mayor of Taipei, mayors, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure for me to participate in the 2021 Summit, Smart City Summit Expo. Next slide, please. Next slide. COVID-19 has been and remains a big challenge for all of us. Mauritius is among very few countries in the world that have been able to manage the coronavirus COVID-19. Next. Today, we have 823 cases in Mauritius, 52 has recovered, 10 deaths, and 221 active cases. The prompt and effective measures adopted in Mauritius during the first weeks following the outbreak of the pandemic, where 3 cases were reported on 18 March 2020, were effective in containing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. Since Mauritius is a very popular tourist destination, it was important to control the arrival of overseas travelers. Borders were closed as the first 3 COVID cases were registered. A first lockdown was imposed in March 2020. Contact tracing was effected. Work access permits were issued to employees to move to their workplace. Frontliners were regularly tested, and priorities were given to health and well-being of the citizens. We have been COVID safe for nearly 1 year until the second wave, which started this month. As frontliners, the councils were called upon to provide essential services such as refuse collection of debts. Next, please. Burial and cremation services. Next. Cleaning of green space found along roads, traffic centers, bridges, rivers. Next. Spraying of herbicides, disinfection of bus terminal, burial services. Those services were carried out under strict sanitary conditions, and personal protective equipment were provided to the employees to carry out their tasks. Next. The Council was supposed to assist the government in distribution of basic food commodities to vulnerable groups of the society. The officers of the Council also assisted the Ministry of Commerce and Consumer Protection to effect surprise checks in shops and supermarkets to ensure fair price practice. Next, please. Next. 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 A dedicated response team was set up during the pandemic to ensure that
Okay, we might be losing the mayor for a little bit, but again, thank you for coming in today. If he's back online, we will switch to the channel again one more time, but he has pretty much concluded that there were services provided during the pandemic, and at the same time, on a PowerPoint slide, he pretty much talked about the cleaning of green spaces, roads and drains, and also all these disinfection works that's pretty much going on in the Republic of Mauritius right now at this point of time, and also hope that they can together also promote or also come into new technologies in order to build Mauritius into a smarter city. So unfortunately, we're not able to finish his speech, but if he's online again, we will switch back to his channel. So moving on, we will have to invite our next speaker. Can we please welcome Mr. Zdeněk Hryb, Mayor of Prague, Czech Republic. Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much. And I will have a short presentation today regarding how we fight the pandemic with open data. I will focus on the open data only, as it is, from my perspective, the keystone for the smart city, smart city effort. So please, next slide. Well, this is our enemy, obviously, we all know him, it's the coronavirus. Next slide, please. And this is our main weapon in the fight. This is the Golemio platform, named after the famous Prague Golem. If you haven't heard the story, I hope you will visit Prague in the near future, so you will be able to enjoy it. So Golemio is our open data platform. Next slide, please. Well, this is a graphical demonstration of how it works. Well, basically, it's like an iceberg, so you only see a tip of it. That's some application based on the open data that is collected by the city. But the majority of the work, the majority of the platform is actually hidden behind the scenes. It's under the surface, and you cannot directly see it. But there's a lot of work and a lot of resources spent on being able to provide actually the open data.
Okay. Well, we have also lost Mr. Zdeněk Hryb for a little bit, but he just started his speech, but it's okay. Our technicians will be working on a problem with him shortly. If he is back online, please let us know, as we would like to hear more information of smart cities in Prague. Now, we have to move on to our next speaker. Thank you all for your patience. Can we please welcome Mr. Timothy Bowles, Mayor of West of England, the UK. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Mirko, distinguished guests, I'm truly delighted to join you all today to talk about the work we're doing here in the West of England region, the region that encompasses the cities of Bristol and Bath. It's around the work we're doing to ensure that innovation and smart technology remains at the heart of our economy as we transition from the challenges that COVID have posed us. May I just quickly take this opportunity to thank the organisers of the summit. It's remarkable that we're able to still meet in the virtual world, though I would have much rather been with you in Taipei, but also to say how pleased I am to join the other mayors and leaders who recognise the importance of smart cities and regions to resilient, productive, post-COVID economies. Next slide, please. The West of England is one of the UK's most economically prosperous and highly skilled regions, and the Tech Nation publication recognises us as one of Europe's top 20 places for tech investment. And we are one of the top 3 cities in the UK for emerging tech investments, particularly in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and this is so helped by our 4 world-class universities. Next slide, please. Bristol was ranked as the UK's #1 smart city and identified at the Barcelona Smart City Expo as a global leader. Our strong digital economy has helped to sustain businesses throughout the pandemic, and our reputation for technology and innovation continues to spread around the world, thanks to initiatives like Set Squared, which is recognised as the world's best university incubator. This translates into business success and investment, such as GraphCore, a startup microchip company who builds artificial intelligence into microchips. They're becoming known as the Intel of AI, and that startup business has rapidly grown and is now valued at over £1 billion in UK sterling. Next slide, please. Our creative and digital media businesses have helped to keep the world entertained throughout periods of lockdown. We are the home of the BBC's Natural History Unit, and they produce 80% of the world, and we produce 80% of the world's natural history programming. As a consequence of COVID, the international leading event in the natural world storytelling industry, known as Wildscreen, I'm delighted we were able to host that on a virtual platform in October to keep bringing people together in that vital sector. The creative industries are huge to our regional economy, but they also produce vast amounts, petabytes of digital data, which needs to be stored, edited and rendered. And increasingly, this is being done remotely in the cloud. So the crossover between the creative and high-tech industries is really important to our region and a vital part of our smart city ecosystem. Next slide, please. So the next generation of digital infrastructure is the cornerstone of the West of England's economic prosperity and is the building block of our smart city region. Our universities and local councils work closely with industry to ensure that the region is amongst the first to have access to the next generation of connectivity. And our digital connectivity test beds include the University of Bristol's 5G Smart Tourism testbed, part of the UK government's £200 million programme to accelerate 5G capabilities. We have a project called the Umbrella, which is a testbed, which is in partnership with Toshiba Research Europe. We've had their European research base here for the last 20 years. And this is focusing on the industrial internet and on creating a smart university campus. And you've already heard from Deputy Representative Andrew Pittman about Bristol is Open, which is using council's own digital infrastructure to trial investment in the Internet of Things applications. So the ability to process vast amounts of data that these networks can support is vital. So our University of Bristol are leading the way through their globally recognised quantum computing initiatives and through the new Bristol Digital Futures Institute's reality emulator. Next slide, please. So we are also facing the challenges of the modern world. So we're developing and delivering a low carbon economy. We're the home of the UK's National Composite Centre, developing the world's largest wind turbine blades. And at our new Institute for Advanced Propulsion Systems, we're developing clean power systems and battery technology for the next generations of vehicles. And just 30 miles from Bristol, the new Hinkley C nuclear power station is being built. This is a £20 billion sterling project of international size and scale. And this has also led then to a global investment in nuclear engineering research here in our region, and also through our Southwest Nuclear Hub at the University of Bristol, which is providing a single point of contact for business, supply chains, skills, research and innovation. And our professional services companies have been supporting this sector globally for generations. We've been doing green deals here in the region since the 70s. Next slide, please. So once the pandemic has subsided, the way we plan and make journeys needs to become smarter. So our Bristol Robotics Lab is actively involved in developing the next generation of connected and autonomous vehicles. We're one of the UK's government's for future transport zones, where we're developing smart demand-responsive public transport. And we're applying smart technology to how we transport goods through end-to-end monitoring of goods from production through transit through another 5G testbed. But we're also working on the new and embryonic smart transport sectors like autonomous drones, personal air travel, future of flight and smart aviation, all of which are building on our region's world-leading aerospace and advanced engineering capacities. Next slide, please. Our diverse economy base gives us certain resiliences to global shocks and stresses, such as this pandemic. So we've been working with the UK's Department of International Trade to identify emerging and growth opportunities in specific sectors to support recovery post-COVID. And we're looking at ways to make both the region and the world more resilient through connected health, medtech, AR and VR, robotics, cybersecurity, animation, and so much more. And our world-class digital infrastructure for research and development is continuing to attract innovative businesses from around the world into our region. Our last slide, please. So finally, we're just using this slide here just to highlight to you our region's smart city ecosystem. And this illustration is really put together just to show you the breadth and wealth of different innovation and ideas that are taking place today, but have been really at the heart of our region's success over so many years. And as a result, I'm confident that this innovation and smart investment will make sure that our region returns post-COVID to a much stronger and more resilient economy. And I really look forward to working with all of you in the future. So our next slide, final one, is just my closing part to say, please keep in touch, and thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you for a few minutes about the work we're doing in the West of England. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bowles. As what Mayor had said, UK is the world-leading smart city, and with the post-pandemic era, we have smart vehicles, public transportation, and definitely smart technologies to transfer goods around, and the smart city ecosystem to create more convenience for the citizens. Again, once again, thank you very much. And I'm also very happy to announce that our previous speaker, Mr. Zdeněk Ryb, we lost him for a little bit at the very beginning of his speech, but he's now back with us again, and we would like to know more about the smart city of Prague. So can we please welcome Mr. Zdeněk Ryb again one more time? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for the technical problems. So if I can have the next slide, please. We use the open data also to fight against the hoaxes and disinformation that are spread over internet against, for example, the vaccination or about coronavirus in general. And open information, open data, and an honest information for the citizens is a key thing in this process that we want to fight the disinformation spread from also other countries into our country. I believe the Taiwanese people have also experience with this. The next slide, please. This is our open data portal. Next slide, please. And this is a photo of a team leader of our Golemio platform when he's being awarded the prize. And I would like to, for our Taiwanese audience, point out the man standing at the right of it. You might know him already. It's the president of the Czech Senate, Miloš Vystrčil. Next slide, please. And the COVID Praha EU is actually one of the tips of an iceberg. When I was showing you the iceberg, I said that this is about the applications for the end users, for the citizens. So this is one of a fine example of this application. So please, next slide. Basically, our problem was that there was a lot of testing points around the city. They were independent, their reservation systems were not interconnected. So if you wanted to get a time slot for testing, to book time slot. You had to check a lot of reservation systems, and so we made an open data solution that collects the open slots for testing and provides them for the people in a simple way, in a map or a list. And there is also an indication of the nearest slot. So it's not just about where's the nearest contact, where's the nearest testing point, but it's also about which can provide you the testing in the shortest time. So this is a service that our citizens are using. Please, next slide. Here's just another example. It's got also an English language version. You can see the testing points in a list or in a map. Next slide, please. And this is a detail of one testing point. You can click directly into the reservation system and make your booking depending on what you have seen on the list of the shortest times. Next slide, please. And this is a slide that reminds me that I have to emphasize the fact that we have not only provided all the collected data as open data, so other institutions or individuals can also make their applications based on the data. It's not just about our application and our way of presenting them to the citizens, but also others can use them as well. This is a slide that reminds me that we also released a source code of the application as an open source, and also the whole Galemio platform, the open data for the city platform, is released as an open source. So you can download it and use it in your city if you wish so. Next slide, please. This is just 4,000 to 5,000
Unfortunately, we have lost the mayor again one more time, but this time we have pretty much a better understanding of what Prague is doing currently at the time. They have very specific COVID testing point, which definitely can also provide you the testing in the shortest and most convenient time. At the same time, the platform not only provided for government usage, but it also provided for all the individuals and as an open platform. So again, once again, thank you, Mayor of Prague. Unfortunately, we have to move on to our very next speaker. Can we please welcome Mr. Gabo Kerpelfronius, Deputy Mayor of Budapest, Hungary. Welcome.
Hello, greetings to everybody, including all the mayors and especially the organizers. I am very much honored to be present. A slight background, if possible. Hungary has known 3 stages of the pandemic. The first was relatively low due to a very early lockdown, which was followed by a fast reopening without, unfortunately, preparations for later waves. So the second and the third wave was considerably and is considerably much harsher. There is a peculiarity in Hungary in as much as our financial system in Budapest has been very much hit, not only by our efforts to fight the pandemic and the losses in tax income, but we are also battling for our independence and our financial resources with the central government. So our main question was, how can technology help in fighting the pandemic? One of them was, and it mainly affected the office of the municipality. Next slide, please. Sorry, next one. We had to ensure that people working in the offices can be working in their home office. Actually, we were quite surprised that we had all the resources available to do that, which we had never tried before. So we basically tackled that situation. The second thing was to enable e-government in order to be able to create physical distancing while while inhabitants of the city were going after their day-to-day work. So we introduced some parts of automized business case handling, and especially we introduced e-signatures in our processes, which being a great achievement also marks the level of technology that the municipality has or had before the pandemic. Also, we introduced the social distancing app, which showed public spaces where inhabitants were not crowding together. That was in order to enable inhabitants to spread out over the city during the lockdown. Also, we tried to use a symptom tracker, which was all the more important because contact tracking was not enforced by the government. So we tried to help ourselves by getting indications about the spreading of the disease. And most importantly, we organized a hackathon in order to be able to help, to gather help from companies and from civil societies working within the city. This was a successful hackathon in its organization. Quite a lot of ideas have surfaced, like the symptom tracker, like the social distancing app. But the main lesson that we learned was that Budapest in its entirety is not very much open to cooperation with companies, with universities, and with civil societies. So that is the major lesson learned. We have to make a very great step forward in that respect. Next slide, please. We also, moving over to a bit more gadget-oriented technological solutions, we also tried to spread out the usage of public areas in introducing new bike lanes where previously they were not available. That is to be able to reduce traffic on the public transport system by enhancing the usage of different micro-mobility tools. We have a bike rental system for which we reduced very drastically the price of usage. And even with the reduced transport on the public transport system, we maintained the original time schedule in order that crowds be reduced, even among those people who resort to the usage of buses. Next slide, please, and the one following that one. What is the way forward? We implemented a program called Budapest Restart, which is trying to make low budget but high impact solutions in a situation with very severe budget cuts. Our aim is to create an adaptive city, a caring city, which enables our city to handle the situation of people in distress, in need, and also being able to be a participative city to better make use of different civil organizations, companies, and even individual inhabitants to enhance cooperation with these, in which Budapest has not proved to be very good beforehand. And also, what is very important for us is to become a much more open and experimenting city, to introduce small-scale changes with a method of trial and error, so to become an experimenting city. And we are trying to enhance further cooperations, and this is going to be my last remark. We are very open to learn from different municipalities and organizations from all over the world. And that is why we are very happy that just recently we have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Taipei-based GoSmart organization in order to exchange ideas and in order to enter into collaborations. So thank you very much again for the invitation, and I find the presentations of my fellow mayors and colleagues very, very important and useful. So thank you very much for organizing the event.
Thank you again, Mr. Fronius. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. As he talked about, technology nowadays definitely has helped in combating the pandemic. And he's very surprised at the same time resources were available with tracker, social distancing app. But Budapest really have to make a huge step forward in order to seek more collaborations and corporations from other industries around the world. So again, thank you very much. Another good news, I do have a mayor coming back, which we lost him a while ago, and I'm very happy that Mr. Kadir, Mayor of Port Louis, Republic of Mauritius, is back with us right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience due to a power cut. So, slide 11, please. Next. Okay. As I said, a dedicated response team was set up during the pandemic to ensure that health and safety practical actions are implemented within the council. Daily screening of body temperatures and of employees and the public were taken. Compulsory wearing of masks, hand sanitizers were provided, and physical distancing was ensured. A sanitization campaign was implemented to provide information to staff regarding safety practices. We also set up an isolation room for suspected cases of COVID-19. Daily cleaning of office, doorknobs of the furniture were cleaned and disinfected. The council also arranged for video conferencing meetings where possible. Recently, the government has started the vaccination program since January 2021. We expected to vaccinate at least 60% of the population by June 2021. Next, please. For conclusion, the citizens are generally happy that necessary care has been and is still being provided to them in order to face the pandemic COVID-19. The initiatives taken to maintain a clean, safe environment with a continuous delivery of the essential services during the lockdown has been well implemented and were welcomed by the citizens. Next, please. Thanking you for your kind attention.
Again, thank you, Mr. Kadar, for your wonderful presentation. And he is our last speaker, and I want to thank all the delegates for coming in today. We do have a very special closing remark. So last but not least, may we please welcome Deputy Mayor Juan onto the stage to conclude today's session for us. Welcome, and thank you.
Thank you so much, mayors and the city leaders, for your in-depth analysis and observation from listening to your experience sharing. I think it is fair to say that smart city development is now a global trend. Under the impact of the pandemic, many cities utilized technology to reduce the damage caused by COVID-19 and to revitalize their respective economy and vitality. I believe everyone here has learned about so much from the talks. Through today's video conference, we are able to proceed with the Smart City Mayor Summit smoothly and exchange know-how on pandemic prevention and smart city development. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Taipei City looks forward to signing memorandum of international collaboration with several cities. We also like to welcome you to work more closely with us and strengthen mutual exchanges. then today's event has become a close. And I would like to thank you all our guests for attending. I would like to thank you, our audience, for their participation. I hope that in 2022, we will be able to see the subsiding of COVID-19. At the time, I look forward to receiving city delegation in Taipei and greeting the mayors and the city representative in person. Let us meet again in Taipei next year. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you, Deputy Mayor Huan, and thank you to all our delegates online. Thank you all to our online audiences. Thank you so much for coming in today. Our next session of the Roundtable will take place tomorrow at the same place at 7 o'clock in the morning here, Taipei time. Please also follow the latest updates on our official website. Last but not least, thank you all very much. If we can just wave all to the audience. Thank you all for coming in today. This is a very remarkable day. And like what Deputy Mayor Huan has said, we wish you to see you in person 2022. Thank you very much.